Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Lauren, and I'm so excited to do this class with you today. Let me show you what we're going to be making. So we're going to be making this beaded brooch right here, which I love, but I also love it because it doesn't have to be a brooch. You could make this into a necklace too, like one of those long, cute beaded necklaces. I love that idea. So in some of my previous classes that I've done for John Bead, I've already shown how to set up a loom. And so because this project has a few different steps in it that I need to go through, I have already started the loom. I've threaded the loom. So if you don't know how to do that yet, you can go back and watch one of those other classes and then pick up here later. So the beads that I'm using today are the 6-0 size beads. They're nice and big. I like them because they have that nice visual impact. And they're so cute. Okay. And then on the back, we will be doing some embroidery and sewing on our felt backing to make that nice and soft. And we'll be using some glittery embroidery floss. I love this floss so much because it just is so, it just looks better than the normal embroidery floss. I love anything glitter and sparkly, so this is perfect for this project. Okay, now let's get into it. I have our loom threaded and our pattern I have made. Let me show it to you on graph paper. I make all of my patterns on this paper that was my husband's. He's an engineer, so he uses this type of paper a lot. This is our pattern that I am going with. I have perfected it. I did it a few different ways so that we have our perfect pattern, which is this one right here. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to finish off this beaded pattern that I have here. And what I want to focus on after we get down a few rows is how to, it's like a staircase, like get the beads going down in this sort of pattern here, and then working on the fringe. So we're on row 4 now. So I'm going to be doing 1 white bead and then 6 pink beads, and just going down exactly how you see it on here. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 1. Okay, and more white. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come underneath of our loom. Put our finger underneath of there. Pull that needle. Make sure it doesn't get stuck around the loom. Sometimes that happens to me. Oops, there we go. Okay, stick that finger under there. Make sure that you are going over top of the thread that's underneath of there. Okay, and then pull that through the other side. Make sure it's nice and tight. Now, also when doing this design, because we're going to be adding that fringe to the bottom, start at the very top of your loom. Don't start in the middle because we want to have some long tails when we go and cut this off of here. Okay. Mm-hmm. 10, 11, 12, 13, white. So this part of the beading, I am going to try to work fast so that I can get down and show you how to do that kind of I don't know what else to call it. Staircase. Okay. Put our needle over top of those threads, pull it through. And our top tail. We're going to tuck this the top tail in later at the very end. Pull that through. And you can see our heart starting to take shape. Now we're going to go down to this row right here, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, row 6. 2 white, 11 pink beads. Right, and then 2 white. And you can make this heart any color that you would like. Pull that through. Go over top. Yeah, that little tail keeps getting in my way. All right, pull that through. Make it nice and tight. Now we're going to go down to row 7. So we'll do 3 white beads on either side. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, I'll make sure that that's 9. No, that's only 8. Oh. 3 beads on the other side. Push those beads up underneath. Pull that needle with thread. Top of there. And pull through. It's starting to come together nicely.
Hi, Lauren. It's Millie. Could you
Millie.
hold up the pattern that you were showing us earlier on the graph paper?
Yes, absolutely.
And then anybody who wants to take a screenshot of it is welcome to, and then you can have it, and I will see if we can get it on our group too.
Yes, and it's 15 beads across. And then we got 10 down here and then goes into our descent down here.
And also, Lauren, if you want to send it to us, we can make sure that anyone who watches the video after, we
Yes,
can make
that
sure
would
that
be
they can have it
perfect.
then.
Yes, yes, yes. I will definitely send that to you after this then.
Awesome.
I always make those on the paper. I play around with them a lot until I get it down to the design that I really like, because I really have to see it beaded in person first before I can commit to it. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. And then 4 white on either side. Okay. Kind of take my nail and I drag it across there to push all of those threads down. Pull that through, and then the needle goes on top again. Push those up. All right, so now we're going to do 5 white on either side, 5 pink in the middle. Right. Now going 15 beads across almost takes up the whole needle. But that's okay because it looks good as the brooch. Okay, we'll pull that through. Go over top of those threads. Okay, now we have 1 more row to go until we start tapering in there. Okay, so the next we have 6 white on either side. 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 pink. Okay. It's under here. Go all the way through. All right, now the next part, this is the new technique that I have not shown before. Okay, so if you look over here, we're going to go in 2 beads. Okay, we're going to start tapering down to the bottom. So when we came through this last row, we were over top of the thread. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go underneath, make sure that you're going underneath of that thread there. Go in 2 beads, bring that through, okay? But bring it through there, but keep your needle down underneath of here, okay? So we're gonna do our next row, which is 5 white beads. 3, 4, 5. 1 pink, oh wait, yep, 1 pink bead. And then 5 white beads. Okay, now we're going underneath and we're gonna hold those up. Okay, see? And now we're into, because if you don't go back through, then you'll have like a line there from your thread. So then we'll pull this back through. And see, we're only going through here. And then we're going to take it up where this bead ends right here. And then go back through over top of all of those beads. Yay! Okay, so then we're going to go back down. Oops. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Okay, back down through there, like so. And then we're going to go to our next row, and our next row is 7, just 7 white beads. Oh, hold on 1 second. Before we do that, I forgot. Okay, so now we're going to go in 2 more beads. All right, so make sure that you are going underneath of that thread that we have there. And you're going to go in 2 beads. Into, there we go. Pull that. Keep the needle down there. And then now we're going to do our 7 white beads. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So every descending row we're going into 2 beads. Okay, so here we go. Do the little nail trick, push those threads down, pull through, go up where that last bead ended, and pull through here. All right, and then our last row is going to just be 3 beads.
So for the last row, could you just bring it up a little so we could see closer?
Yes, of course. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. All right, I'll put my finger underneath so you can see. So here I just finished here. I'm going to kind of push that last row up a little bit so I can make sure that I'm getting underneath of that thread, because if I don't get underneath of that thread, since we just came over these threads right here, it would, the bead would just fall back off. So we want to make sure that we are getting underneath of those 2 beads, and we're going to go down into that too. Okay. See? Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Bring that up through there. But we're going to put the needle back down through here. Oh, got it caught up right there. Okay, so now we're going to do the 3, and then I'll show that one more time. Here are 3 beads. This is our last row. Let me get those back on there. Okay, see, because we're coming underneath, that's why we want the needle down here. Push those up, pull this through, All right, and then you're going to come up through this last row. Okay. And then go through. All right, and now that is it for this step. So what we're going to do, because we have this long tail here, we're just going to run it through the brooch itself. So I'm going to go up a row and I'm just going to start running it through so that it's more secure. Run it through here. I'm pushing my fingers up so that the beads are lifted. And I'm just going to run this back through here. Now, the new step that I'm showing you was the how to taper down, because I've already shown how to set up a loom and how to basically work on a loom, but I haven't showed how to taper, do that step type thing. And then I'm going to show you how I did my fringe. Now, remember, I am all self-taught. I will sit down and I will do things over and over and over again and try new things, just try different ways, and just see what works for me. So what works for me may not work for you, or it may just be, a little bit different, but it's because I'm all self-taught. And usually I can look at something and go, I can make that, or I can figure it out. And that's one of the things that I love, as I love the process of figuring out how to make things and how to do things. It's very fun for me. Okay, so I ran that through a bunch of times. Now I'm going to cut this off. I'm going to scissors. Cut the thread off here on the side. Boom. Now I am going to take the top tail and I'm going to run that through as well so that it is nice and stable. And we don't have anything coming off. So I'm going to go down a row, pull through, that nice and tight, go back up through the very top row, pull nice and tight, go back down a row, pull nice and tight, and then I'm going to go up one more time. Boom. There we go. Now we're going to cut off this tail. Make sure you don't accidentally cut any of these lines, because that would be awful. Okay, now this is what we have. Here's our heart. So cute. I love it. And we have all of these threads down here. Now we're going to cut this off of the loom as far down as we can. I'm going to kind of hold them and cut. There we go. So this is what we have. We have all of these threads right here. Okay, I'm going to remove that. Put this to the side. Now this is where we're going to start the fringe. Now this is how I've done mine. This was my very first piece. This one, in my opinion, does not look the best because this was the first one I ever tried. Then we have this one right here, which I love. It came out so amazing, but I did the fringe with 3 green beads down, but I think that I prefer doing 2 with the blue. If you want longer fringe, you can do longer fringe. If you want shorter fringe, you can do shorter fringe, but that one came out perfectly. And so I have recreated that over here. So I'm going to show you how to do the fringe, and then by movie magic, we're going to move over to this and I'm going to show you how to finish it off. Okay, so for the fringe, what we're going to do is each strand that we have down here, okay, is going to be its own little fringe. So we're going to start at the end. I'm going to start on the right-hand side, and I'm going to pick up that last thread, and I'm going to thread it on my needle. Perfect. Okay, boom. I have to say, usually, we knock on wood. I don't need this doodad, but I've been doing pretty well at just doing it with my eyeball. Okay, so we're getting 2 of our tube beads. They're the green silver lined ones. They were in the description. This is what they look like. I love these. And then we're gonna do one teal 6-0 bead at the bottom. Okay, and we're gonna gently pull this up. Okay, then we're going to take our needle and we're going to go back through the 2 green tube beads. Okay, and we're going to pull that up. Okay, and then now what we're going to do is our goal is to get all of the tails up to the top. So we will have all of them up here. So you can see it here on this one. All right, so all of the tails will soon be at the tippy top. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to weave it back through like this. Let me hold it up for you. Weave it. We get to the top and then I'll pull it through. Take my needle off. And there we have our first little fringe. So cute. So cute. All right. And you know, if you were to pull on this, you can see, look how my beads can kind of come down. If you're like new to this, see how you don't want this to happen. So just make sure that you're being mindful of your beads, keeping them up where they need to be. You don't want any to unstring. Just be mindful of that while you're working. So now we're going to go to our next one and do the same thing where we're going to pick up that strand, string it. Do our needle. There we go. We're doing 2 silver tube beads. And then teal. All right. And then we're going to push that up. Now we are going to go around the blue. Okay, we're going to use that as like our bottom bead. We're going to go back up through the green. Okay. And then you can see where each thread is, where it comes from naturally. So see this line here. I can pull this up for you. You can see where the thread is coming from. We're just going to go in and out, up and down in a motion like this. Okay, we're just going to go in between all of those. So just kind of holding it and going in and out around each of those horizontal threads until we get to the tippy top. See, we're at the top now, and we'll pull that up, pull that thread, and now our needle is off. We don't need to pull too tight. It'll just be a natural, nice little fringe there. See? And so now that thread is now at the top, and we will just keep repeating this. Do another one. See, there's no way I'd be able to finish this in an hour, so movie magic is what works best. And these are so fun to do. You could do anything you want. You could try a peace sign, you know, some other type of shape. It doesn't have to be a heart. I chose this one for Valentine's Day because my friends love it when I make them stuff. So I'm making these for my girlfriends. And they're so cute. Some of them I'll turn into a necklace. All right, so here we have our beads again. Okay, we're going to go over that blue. We're just going to restring up through the 2 green tubes. Okay. Kind of hold those green beads there so that they just naturally fall where they're supposed to fall. Or slide up where they're supposed to slide up, I should say. So now we have it here. Now we're going to take our needle, and I can hold this up again. Okay, we're going to take our needle, and we're going to flow up, go in and out, around, like up and down through that next row of the horizontal strands that we have in there. that's holding everything together. Bring it up to the top. Now our needle is up here. We'll pull that up. And the fringe just naturally pulls to where it's supposed to be. And then we take our needle off. See? Very cute. Love it. Okay. Now, remember what I said about these, this little beads down here. They can, you know, just be mindful of your beads. You don't want them to come off the bottom. For the most part, you know, you can pick this up, move it around. You can kind of put the beads back where they need to go if they get stretched out a little bit down here. That's not an issue. Okay. Another one. Now, if you ever have any questions about these classes and you know, it's not live and you need to find an answer, you can always message me. I'm Lauren Quigley Creations across all social media platforms. So you shouldn't have a hard time finding me. And I'm also the queen of voice notes. I get a lot of questions about a lot of the projects that I do. And so I usually respond fairly quickly and, you know, let you know the supplies that I'm using or how to do something. I'm very open. Okay. So here we go. And it's coming together so cute. Oh my gosh, now I'm thinking, what if we made these into earrings? Because now I have two of these, but I'm sending one to my friend Jess and my other friend Emily. I think they're really gonna like these. So you could also make them, like I said, as necklaces. I think that would be so cute if you wanted to sew an extra little pocket into the back of the felt and make like a little pocket there. Okay, so now you see the string will literally guide you up the row that it needs to go on. It's pretty foolproof. So we're just going to go right up that row where it already came from. We're going to go in and out of those horizontal strands. Maybe pick it up a little bit towards the end there. Pull it up. Okay, and oops, got some loose beads over here. Okay, if you find that like you pulled it a little too tight, that's totally fine. What you're gonna do is just kind of loosen up on that needle, loosen up on the fringe there. And there we go. Just kind of tap it back down to where it needs to be. So this is looking good. I think I'm going to do one more. And then we will move on to the next part. I just want to make sure that you're getting this. String through here. How am I eyeballing this? I do not know. There we go. Okay. There are 2 tubes, and you can make the fringe longer. I know I mentioned that, but you can make the fringe longer if you wanted. That would be really cute if you had like super long fringe. Okay, so we're going to go back up through those tubes like so. All right, and then I'll hold this up so that we can see the row that we need to go up. And we're literally just going to let it guide us. We're going to go straight up, just kind of go in and out, looping it, weaving it back through all of those rows. Okay. And then pull gently and release the needle. Okay. And here we go. Now that is what the fringe will look like. And you'll repeat this all of the way to the other side. And then once you're done, all of the threads will be at the very top now. Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. I love this. Okay, I'm going to finish this up later after our class. I'm going to move that to the side. Now, dun dun dun, movie magic. Here are all of our threads up at the very tippy top. Now, what I'm going to do with all these threads up here may not be what others would do. I tried a few different ways for this next part. Okay, I tried glue and I did tape So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna gather all of these up. I'm gonna make sure that my beads are nice and tight by kind of holding up here, because all of the strings are up here. I know they're kind of blending into the paper. But I'm gonna hold them up here, push my beads down, make sure that this is nice and solid, nice and tight. Everything is nice where it needs to be in a nice straight line. Now this part is just easy peasy. We're gonna take some tape, make sure there's no stray dog hair on there, which there could be from my house. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold all of those strings and I'm going to tape across that top there in a nice straight line, just to gather up all of those strings so I can kind of get them out of the way. All right, let me pick that up. Now you want it in a nice straight line and you want to make sure that it is getting all of those strands right where the strands meet the beads, because we're going to be gathering this up and kind of tucking it around the back, if you will, for our next part. So I'm going to bend that tape in on either side. And if you need to use more tape, that's fine. So now we kind of got something like this. See, it's just tape on there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our felt. This is just pink felt from Michael's. It's in the kind of like the kids area, the creatology section. Now what we're going to do is we're going to, let's kind of trace out our shape. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. You can kind of flip up the fringe, if you will. Get that out of the way. That traced. We're going to cut it out. Now remember, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. All right, now that black part will be on the inside, so we won't see that. Oh my goodness. Okay, and don't be like me and use an acrylic marker, right? That's what I just used. I should have used a Sharpie. For some reason, I thought that was a Sharpie, but it was not. Okay, so here's the outside. We have the tape on the top. Now what I did before was I put a little tiny bit of glue on the back of the tape and I just kind of folded this over like this to keep all of our strands in here. Because once it's all sewn in, the strands will be just in there. I'm just going to gather those up and then just kind of tape them into each other a little bit more. Now I know some people would weave these all the way back through and do that, and you totally can if you're a more experienced beader. I'm just showing the more crafty approach. Okay. So now our strings are completely out of the way. They are back there with our tape. We're going to put our felt back there together. Okay. And then that's what the back will look like. Now we're going to take our embroidery floss and an embroidery needle. So see the difference between an embroidery needle is different. It's like, it's a little bit thicker. And here's this one, it's longer and thinner. Okay. Alrighty. So here is our green thread. Now, like I said, I love this because it's kind of glittery. It has like this really nice sheen. On this other one that I did over here, you can see I used the purple. Okay, the purple thread is over here. Okay. You can use any of those colors. Those are also in at Michael's in the embroidery section. Now I'm using 2 strands of the floss. I'm going to thread that through our embroidery needle. Now, fun fact, I used to do a lot of freehand embroidery, and I used to sew and make little like baby name embroidery hoops and everything completely freehand. It was so fun. That was one of the things I did right after I had my first child. I have four kids now, but after my first one, she's almost 10, so that's 10 years ago. That's what I used to do, a lot of freehand embroidery. It was just so fun for me. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to hold this together. Now remember, this is just the crafty approach. This isn't necessarily the right way to do it. This is just how I do it. Okay, I'm going to start down here underneath of the fringe and just kind of pick a spot. And go up through the felt into the beadwork. I'm going to leave a little tail because I'll go back later and make sure that it's more secure. But we're just going to kind of hold it together. And we are going to start sewing this together. Being mindful of our fringe, making sure that we're not going to accidentally sew into the fringe. Okay. Go up. And once I get over to the side over here where the fringe isn't in the way, I'm going to show you the type of pattern that I'm doing. Let's get this out of here. My screen keeps flashing. Okay, there must be a lot going on in the chat right now, but I can't see the chat. Okay. All right, now once we get to this side over here, we're going to go up through the side. It'll create a loop over here, and we're going to take our needle and we're going to go through that loop and bring it up. It's going to create this nice border around our beads and our felt. So we'll go back up through the felt, making sure that we're going through there, and the outside of our beading brooch here. Oh. And then go through that last stitch that you did. Hold that too tight. There we go. All righty. And we'll keep doing that. We'll go up to the next bead. All right, the next bead, pull through. All right, you're going to get this loop here, and you'll just bring your needle through that and pull nice and tight. Okay, we'll do that again. That. Pull it. See, we have this loop. I'm going to put my finger through there so you can see it a little bit better. Pull through there. And you're going to start getting this pretty glittery green border. And you're just going to want to go do that through every single bead that you have here, just so that it's you have kind of a nice repeating pattern there. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to go up here. And then once this is all done, I mean, if you wanted to, when you're almost halfway through, you could still put a little bit of glue if you're insecure about that, or if you're not sure of the tape, you could always add in some glue there. But I found that I didn't really need to. Everything was just nice and stayed as it should. I've worn my jacket around. It's been a nice project. I had so much fun making this. I hope you guys are enjoying this as well. Okay, pulling that through. The only thing that I wish I wouldn't have done is use that black acrylic paint marker. When I picked this up, I really thought this was a Sharpie. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that. I didn't even think about it. I was like, oh, that would work. Or use a pencil, just something so that it's not getting on your fingers. I see the black on my fingers a little bit, but after this is all sewn together, because we use the felt face down, the black won't be showing through the back, so that's good. And then you could also sew a little extra pocket back there, like I said, and make that into a little pocket necklace. That would be so cute. So you can put something back there like, I don't know, this sounds a little creepy, but a tooth. Like, I don't know if your kid can take it to school, and if they lose a tooth or something. I don't know. Anything that you want. Okay, so we'll keep doing this around. Going to every single bead, in between every single bead. So like I said, we get that nice repeating pattern. You're just pulling through and then looping back through that loop, and that will give you this really pretty border I was telling you about. And it'll just sit nicely behind every single bead, see? And it just gives you that little tiny glitz of glitter, which I love. Okay. Now, one thing about this glittery embroidery thread is it's not as soft as our normal embroidery thread, if we were using that. Okay. Now, let me show you. So what you would do is you would just keep doing this all the way around. Now, let me show you what it would look like as the brooch. So let me show you the one that I did here, because this one is all completely finished. I love this one. Okay, so here we go. And then this is what the back looks like. Let me hold it so you can see. This one I used a nice, the purple glitter. So you can see this is what it looks like. All completely finished with this really nice kind of like boho pattern all around there. It just looks so cute. Now for this one, I used tape and I used a bit of glue. So the beads don't move around, and the glue that I used was just this. It dries clear, it's just a regular adhesive. Now, this is my way of doing it. Like I've mentioned before, I'm just showing the more crafty approach to doing things, not so much the technical skill, because everything that I do is self-taught. I went to school for ceramics. If you want technical, I got you on ceramics. But this is what we have here. Now, let me, an idea that I had was to actually turn this into a necklace. So what you'd be able to do after you completely finish it is just take your string and then just completely string that through the first row here. And then you could start stringing beads on either side and just have it into like a really pretty long necklace. Now the pin back that I used for here, these are bead landing, and they have a sticky backing to them. The sticky backing stayed on there. Like this, I was pretty impressed with how well that was on there, just from using that alone. Now, what you could do is you could sew that on if you wanted that extra protection, but really this is very well made. It feels very sturdy, and I really like how it turned out. I hope that you liked how it turned out, and that you get to make your own and you can go back and watch the replay. So without further ado, I am Lauren Quigley, and if you have any questions about anything, feel free to shoot me a message. I'm an open book and I would love to answer your questions. Happy crafting!